Um, the big question is, what inspired you to be a teacher? So, like, when, where, how, like, did that light bulb come on and you're like, "Yep, I wanna be a teacher."
Bridget, you want to go first, or you want me to
Sure,
go?
sure. I'm glad that you started with homeroom teacher because I actually was a volunteer at my kids' school, volunteered in the library, I volunteered to help with reading. I'm a passionate reader. At the time, I was a stay-at-home mom running my own after-school daycare, so I had my own little business going on, and it just made sense to go in and help, and then I walked all my own children and my kids I took care of after school. And it was a 4th grade teacher who I highly respected. This woman was a phenomenal teacher, and she asked me, she said, "Have you ever thought of becoming a teacher?" And I'm like, "Well, no, I got 4 kids. I'm busy enough," and it was her, and she pointed out, she very specifically said, "This is what you're good at. This is what I see when you interact with my students, I see." And she just the compliments, I'd never gotten compliments. I never realized that, and that set the seed, and really, when my husband came home for work that night, I said, I think I'm gonna go back to school." I had a home ec degree from Arizona State University from the '70s, which wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't, and so it required us with 4 kids to figure out how to fill in the gaps at Phoenix College, how to get loans and grants to go out to ASU, how to get out to ASU, because at that time, we lived on the West
Yeah.
Side. But he agreed, and
Wow.
it was being a homeroom mom and helping out, and, I have thanked that woman, I can't tell you how many times. Her only comment was after I got my
Oh.
certification and we had our party, she said, "So does this mean you're not coming back to help anymore?" I said, "No, I'm not coming back to help anymore. I'm actually gonna get paid. I'm gonna get paid now." So, yeah, so it was another teacher, and I carried that with me whenever I had a mentor or a parent or a volunteer in my room. If I saw something, I paid it forward. It's like, "You gotta think about doing this." We need people who just naturally are good with kids without thinking, without knowing it, without trying, you just got it, so that was something I learned from her, you know? Yeah. Kimberly, how'd you get into this gig?
So I was the first person in my family to go to college, but I didn't quite know exactly what I wanted to study. I
Okay.
did think I wanted to be a newscaster.
Okay.
So I started at MCC taking a few media classes and speech classes. I enjoyed the speech classes. I thought that was kind of fun. But I was pretty bored in the media classes, and I thought, oh, hi. I just went 1, 2, 3. Are we okay? Did you
Mhm.
guys miss me?
Nope.
Okay. No, okay. All right. I was just reconnecting or something, I think. So she said, what are the things you like to do? What are the things that bring you joy? And I remembered that when I was, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 years old, all my teddy bears and all the kids in the neighborhood needed to go to summer school. So I would set up like a little schoolhouse and I would make papers for them, worksheets for them to do. I'd handwrite them out and we'd sit down and I'd, teach them whatever it is and some addition or something. And my teddy bears joined. We had to have a full class, couldn't just have the couple of kids I have. And I thought, well, I always thought that was kind of fun. So maybe teaching. And she was a retired teacher herself. She said, there's a class I want you to take called Introduction to Teaching. You got 10 hours of time you'll spend in the classroom, and it's going to help you decide if that's really the way you want to go, rather than starting another course of classes that you might not enjoy. So I went into my little brother's classroom. He was a third grader at the time. And I think I was there about 30 minutes, and I knew this is the place I feel comfortable. This is what I should be doing.
Mm.
So I ended up doing way more than the 10 hours, and then I just went right into the teaching program from there.
So you guys were, like, encouraged, like,
Yeah.
really encouraged to be, like, to be teachers. And the reason why I say encouraged is there's a difference from for me, I think in my mind, having a conversation with, like, my kids, "What do you wanna do or be when you grow up?" And then they say, "A teacher." And then you kinda just support that, like, you support their dream of being a teachers, whereas with you 2, there were outside people that saw something in you that kind of, like, pushed you right to, like, this is where you want to be, or this is where you should be, or this is where you would be great at. So you guys were encouraged to be teachers.